John Feal worked as a demolition supervisor at Ground Zero following the September 11th attacks until a disabling injury when an 8,000-pound steel beam landed on his foot 5 days into the cleanup. As 9/11-related illness started killing his friends, John became a relentless activist for the survivors and responders. He lobbied Congress to pass the James Zadroga 9/11 Health and Compensation Act of 2010, which they subsequently fought to defend and expand in 2015 and 2019, with the help of dozens of his fellow 9/11 responders, post-9/11 illness survivors, and the comedian Jon Stewart. After getting the 9/11 healthcare bill passed, Jon Stewart told John Feal, "I will follow you anywhere." Their next guerrilla lobbying project was the PACT Act, which guarantees health care for veterans exposed to burn pits in the War on Terror. Through the Feel Good Foundation, John continues to advocate for the health needs of first responders nationwide. He has spoken at the 9/11 Memorial Museum, Princeton University, and Quinnipiac. Vanity Fair has covered his story along with NPR, The Daily Beast, The Wall Street Journal, and many other major news networks and local affiliates nationwide. He is the subject of 2 documentaries. John is now writing a book scheduled for publication in September 2026 for the 25th anniversary of 9/11. I am his co-author. Welcome to Notes from a Ghost, a podcast about stories and the people who tell them. My name is Charlie, and I'm a ghostwriter. I love a good story. I hope you enjoy this one. John, thanks for being here.
Thank you, ghostwriter, for having me. I like that little plug, and I am his ghostwriter.
Co-author. I'm moving up in the world.
Yes.
Ghostwriter is when it's a dirty little secret.
Yeah, it won't be a secret for long.
No. Now, John, we talk a lot, but this time of year you're hard to get a hold of. Can you tell people at home a little bit about what that's like? How many interviews have you done in August and September so far?
I mean, the end of August, it's not just me. The end of August, beginning of September, leading up into September, remembrance of 9/11 is tough on the 9/11 community. Everybody's reminded of the medications they take, the illnesses that they have, the loved ones that they lost. And, I'm just a micro dot out of tens of thousands of people that suffer. I truly believe that America and the rest of the world have so much shit on their plate that they'll take a moment to remember 9/11. So many in the 9/11 community think that this country forgot about them. It's just, we're human beings. We get distracted by shiny objects and just putting food on the table, paying the utilities, making sure the kid has braces or the other kid gets the stomach in. I get it. It's called life. For me personally, it's like getting kicked in the groin by 100 people lined up taking a 40-yard sprint to my groin. It's painful. The demand, physically, mentally, emotionally, catches up to you. And then, on September 12th, I'll take that shower. And I'll wash it off. Nobody will be around, and I'll cry like a baby, which I always do. But it's painful. It's if you were directly affected by 9/11, it's painful. And over the years we've heard people say, I want to move on. You move on from a cold. You move on from a breakup. You move on from the lost job. It's hard to move on from literally the worst day in the history of the world. And it's a wound that will never heal for so many because justice came late or justice hasn't come at all. And, my heart bleeds. My soul cries for those who continue to suffer.
And, Bridget was on here last week, and she said that, 9/11 is one day for everybody else, but for people affected by it, like the people you're describing, like yourself, it's every day.
Well, I feel like Bill Murray's done doubling Groundhog Day. You know, it's constant. Every day we're putting people in the World Trade Center health program up and then follow their victim compensation claims, going to a funeral or putting them on the list to go on our wall September 14th at my park. It's never ending. But this is what we chose to do, Bridget and I and others. Kudos to Bridget. She's a strong young lady. But I said, my dear friend, she lost her father. She watched her father deteriorate and die. Yeah, I saw my mother and sister die. That's to be expected. Was supposed to die of cancer or heart disease. You get hit by a bus. But Bridget could have went a different path in life. Got compensated for her father's passing, which all the money in the world wouldn't bring him back. But she could have been like 10,000 for other people and just moved on. She decided to stay back and fight, put down her rig and pick up her sword. So, kudos to her. You can all learn a lot from Bridget from.
That we can. She's impressive, to say the least. She took part in a very special ceremony at the park that you built in Long Island a few years ago, and it's an ongoing thing. Can you tell people a little bit about that place?
Yeah, I mean that's where I meet a lot of new people every year. Just that I don't get that chance to meet a lot of new people and work with them for the next 8 years. 16 years ago, my town in Wisconsin, in Smithtown, Long Island, they said we want to build a 9/11 memorial, and I said, all right, that's great. I'll make a donation. That's as far as I'll go. There's 9/11 memorials everywhere, and rightfully so. But there's no memorials for those who died since 9/11. When I explained that to everybody, they all scratched their head and said, oh, holy shit. So I didn't think anything of it, and a month later they said, you got your way. We're going to donate that land to you for $1. That was $1 million park on it. And for the last 14 years, I've called that park my baby. Interviews and speeches. That park's my baby. I don't have kids. That park's my baby. And good people are taking care of that park now. And that park's my baby. But that park is the only thing that reminds me that I failed. And my job is to get legislation passed because nobody else wanted to do it. I've done it 19 times. My job is to help people get in the World Trade Center health program and get victims compensation claims. Other people do that, but they don't do as good as me. Park is something I decided to do because it's a reminder that I failed. It's a reminder that I didn't get legislation passed fast enough. When I look back at it, I was living in D.C. or Albany or New Jersey. But my job, I failed because I didn't get people in the program fast enough. And I know, again, it's the entities that oversee these programs. But personally, I feel like I failed. And the wall, is a reminder that I failed. And I got to explain myself every Saturday after 9/11 when we do a reading of the names event to the families. And those who go on the wall, I'll sit there the night before by myself. Everybody knows to leave me alone. And I'll say sorry. And the knowing that you failed makes you want to come out swinging harder the next day. Most people, when they fail, give up. If I was in the Rocky epilogue of all his movies, we'd be up to like Rocky 38, where I get the shit beat out of me 900 times. And I still keep coming back for that beating. And the crowd gets behind me and hopes I win.
This year, how many names will be going on the wall?
314. 314 good people, the best of the best with this country over 23 years ago. We're talking 23 years. It's not a sexy number. Hey, how long you been married? 23 years. Nobody gives a shit. It's 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. After 50, you could just kiss it goodbye. If I'm here, great. If I'm not, if I ever go on that wall, they know on special treatment. Just let me blend in with everybody else on the wall. And I hope I'm man enough or have the hero that these men and women were, the human being next to them.
I think for people, there's a lot of people this time of year who like to tweet never forget, or they'll share some article or where they were on that day, and I think some of it's coming from a really good place, but some of it can be pretty empty. You guys encountered politicians using that kind of patriotism as a smokescreen for the fact that they weren't doing anything for first responders.
Yeah. Listen, never forget, or I support first responders, police officers, firefighters, military. If that's coming from an elected official, 99% of them are full of shit. They suck. They suck at human beings. It's coming from an average American or somebody around the world. It's sincere. I don't question it. But it's like when you see a veteran or an active military in the airport in their uniform or walking about down Main Street, you say thank you for your service. It's sincere, it's honest, but it doesn't go far enough. We say thank you for your service because that's what we were trained to do. It's what society accepts. But I challenge everybody to take it a step further. Say thank you for your service. What can I do for you? Thank you for your service. What can I do to use your pain back into civilization? Everybody battling something. Nobody is immune from what life throws at you. We all suffer in silence, and the problem, nobody wants to have the tough conversations anymore. Nobody wants to have the difficult conversations. Charlie, I don't like you. I hate you. I'm going to dismiss you. I burned no calories. There was no calories burned by me excluding you from my life. But if we stop and say, well, this is what interests me, this is why I think, this is what I believe, prove me wrong, have a difficult conversation, burn calories, you won't have to go to the gym. Nobody wants to do that anymore. And, we label each other. Republican, Democrat, man, woman, lieutenant, captain, sergeant. We just label black, white, Jewish, Muslim. Just strip it all down. We're all human beings. And the true spirit, the true essence of being a human being is to give of yourself. To give of yourself. Whether it's an hour a day or an hour a week or an hour a month or literally fucking 20 years of your life. Tomorrow's the anniversary. You timed this really good, Charlie. Tomorrow's the 17-year anniversary that I donated my kidney to a complete stranger. And everybody asks me, why? Why would you donate your kidney to a complete stranger? That question. And the only thing I can come up with was, why wouldn't I? I gave the gift of life to somebody who can never repay me, except other by living.
That was something. And this guy comes up a lot on this podcast, but Sebastian Younger said, like, if you want to feel connected to your community, go and give blood, and it's a selfless act where the person receiving it is never going to know who you were, who you voted for, what you look like, whether they would get along with you on a personal level, but you saved their life.
I hope everybody takes 2 minutes out of their time, whoever listens to this, and just ask yourself, or try to give yourself validity for your existence. What's your purpose in life? and take that $300,000 college education and make as much money as you can, because you're not taking it where you're going. You go with the dollar. Nobody lives forever. What do you hold the door open for a stranger? Let them hold their car with their groceries. Or somebody a cup of coffee. Saying, hey, your hair looks nice today. I'll buy a dozen roses and give one each away to a stranger. Because I do all of these on a daily basis. And whoever's around me go, what are you doing? It's going to be me. And if you cannot give it to yourself, and if you cannot appreciate that we don't live forever, and you cannot wrap your arms around what humanity truly is, then there's no need to validate your existence. It just means you're conforming to norms that you've been taught. And that's never going to be me. You know, I said it on the 20-year anniversary on MSNBC, and they will say, usually pass down to generational advice from a drunk uncle at a family reunion. I only live once. No, you fucking idiot. You only die once. You live every day. And today, tomorrow, the next day, I'm going to live like it's my last fucking day because I've cheated death so many times. Man, when you do a good deed, when you do something nice for somebody else, the ripple effect is amazing.
When you and I started working on this book, and we were in that early stage of trying to figure out what you had to say and what the big theme was, you had just given a talk where you said something really profound. I'm going to try to say it without getting a little choked up, but you said that every good thing you had ever done, everyone you had ever helped, everything you did that was of any value to the world was on the other side of being diagnosed with PTSD.
I was drunk.
Bullshit.
No. Yeah. Listen, I was always like this, even before 9/11, even before my injury, even before my mother passed away. I'm still best friends with my high school wrestling coach. His son was born with Down syndrome, and his middle name is John. I did good things, I had 80 fights in high school. Never started one of them. It was usually defending somebody handicapped or one of my friends. I've always been the enforcer who doesn't do well with bullies and mean people.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that I've done after 9/11, yeah, that was diagnosed by 4 doctors with post-traumatic. They told me I was batshit crazy, that I'll never be productive, that I'll be disruptive in the workforce. Yeah, the laundry list and the things that they told me was insulting. And I think that was put on the back burner of those I proved wrong. It just seems like the last 23 years I've had to prove everybody wrong. I'm not going to try to change anybody's mind. I'm not going to, I'm my own worst critic. If I know I did something wrong or I said something wrong, I'm going to beat myself up. So if somebody else says it, I don't give a shit. Nobody lives rent-free in my head. You're gonna pay rent. If I get in your head, I'm gonna own it.
And I think there's some elected officials who learned that the hard way.
This is true.
And people are going to have to read the book to hear those stories. But one thing about PTSD that you and I have talked about, and this has been something I grew up around with my dad, and what are some things about it people might not know? Because I think the image people have from movies of like shell shock and flashbacks is not really the whole story. That might be part of it. It might not be.
I cried once that I know of. I'm assuming I cried twice before 9/11. Once at birth, it's smacked you on the ass and you cry, and my grandfather's funeral. But since 9/11, I've cried 10,000 times. I've been to 212 funerals. There's a lot of emotional mood swings There's a lot of times when you don't want to get out of bed. There's a lot of times when you're lethargic. Um, Post-traumatic to me is not a stigma. And while it's very real and to be taken very serious, it means you've been through something and you came out the other side. And no, you're not going to be the same person you were. But if you want to be, you could be a better person than you were. You might not be able to do the things you used to do. You might not have the tolerance for certain things in life. But if you fight post-traumatic, you will lose. All the medication in the world. For me, I embrace it. I embrace it that I'm flawed, that I have a mental handicap, an illness. We're all flawed, Charlie. We're all vulnerable, we're all exposed, and I told you this before. When you show, when I go and speak at different places and they got a doctor or a scientist or a lawyer speaking before me, then I get up there. And you got 12 people to clap out of 1,000, and I got standing ovations because I connected with the crowd. I didn't talk down at them, I talked with them. I talked to them. I treated them as if they're my equal or even better. But when you show people you're flawed, you're vulnerable, you're exposed, that you're a human being before anything, the ability to collaborate and move forward is amazing. It's just amazing. And listen, I'm not for everybody. There are people that just don't like me, and I don't care. So you get to a certain age where you find your chi, and you just don't care. I'm not put on this earth to make everybody happy. I was put on this earth to do the best I can do as me for those I don't know. My tombstone will say he tried. And people will walk by and go, who the fuck is buried there? It's going to be some guy who tried. And I'm good with that.
God, and for people listening at home, I think we make each other cry on like every interview we've done for this book. But I want to shift gears to a story, and people are going to have to read the book to get the whole story. But people probably the event that you're most closely connected with is Jon Stewart's testimony in 2019 ahead of the subcommittee hearing on the 9/11 health and compensation bill. And people probably remember seeing that. It was his return to the spotlight. But not many people know the story behind that and how we got from his passion and involvement to what we saw come out of him in that 5-minute speech. Can you tell me about that day and your role in what we all saw at home?
Yeah, well, let's make one thing clear. I made Stewart famous, okay? So he was basically a little comedian doing pub acts and stuff, and I made him a household name. I don't need the credit. I just know what I've done. And the funny thing is, when he left the Daily Show in 2015, I bet him $1 that he'll be back. And when he went back on the Daily Show this year, you owe me $1. He goes, yeah, I'll get to it. And on a serious note, he is my dear friend, and we speak all the time. And, before we get to 2019, I've never met anybody so generous with their time. I've never met somebody so articulate, somebody who can go from 0 to 60, from funny to serious. I've seen him cry. I've seen him laugh. I've seen him come out of character. And what I learned is that Jon Stewart's exposed. He's vulnerable. And he's flawed, just like me. It gave us the ability to collaborate with the 9/11 community. In 2010, John asked me to come on his show. And I said, sir, if I ever wrote a book, if I ever wrote a book, I would gladly do it. But I got to finish where I started, and we have 2 days to get a bill passed, so we're going to start. Gotta get it done. Because I got a man of integrity. Give me 4 guys, we'll put them on my show tonight. We'll help you get the bill passed. And that's what happened. Fast forward to 2019. Now we'll fast forward to 2015. I want to show you what type of guy John is. There's a core group of us, and then there's always 40 or 50 of us. 10 to 12 guys that would die for me. Now, John saw me give everybody nicknames. And I had one guy named Tackleberry, I had one guy named Shrek, I had one guy named Mello. You interviewed Mello, Phil Rizzo.
Great guy.
He's battling throat cancer. And John's like, I want a nickname. I said, what the fuck? You're John Stewart. I'm not giving you a nickname. He's like, no, I want a nickname. And it was refreshing because we were going in between meetings. And those meetings were painfully hard on everybody. There's a lot of crying, there's a lot of screaming. And it was redundancy. I'm just walking down the hall. John's like, give me a nickname. I said, good. You're John Stewart. I'm not giving you a nickname. Shut the fuck up. And he kept answering me. And then he goes, dude, give me a nickname. I said, your nickname's Colbert. And he kicked me. And he's wearing steel-toed shoes. I said, you ever kick me again, I will whip your ass. But again, that was John wanting to be just John. Just roll up the sleeves and see what we did for the last decade and a half. I've had a lot of celebrities approach me. A lot of well-known names approach me. And none of them can hold water to what this man did for tens of thousands of people. And it feels like he went on every trip with us. But the fact is, for doing the 9/11 stuff, he went to D.C. 6 times. For doing the burn pits in 2021, 22, hell, he told time. But his presence was felt. But in 2019, when we got the bill extended in 2015, we had it extended to 2020. But we were running out of money. We knew we wouldn't make it to 2020. So in October of 2018, me and a handful of my best guys, we were under the radar getting support for when Senator Gillibrand, introduced the bill in February of 2019. By that time, people were getting their BCF awards, their claims for their illnesses, cut by 70%. So if you're supposed to get 100,000, you would only get 30,000. I'm just using quick math. And that was plain and simple. So when the bill got introduced, we had enough co-sponsors and yes votes to pass the Senate the following day. But because of the incompetence and the ideologies, the fucking corruption, the poor leadership, the bad politics, just cranky old white men not knowing what the fuck they're doing, we had to wait. So in April, I had a meeting with Mitch McConnell's staff. It went well, because in 2015, it went really bad. And then I came up with a plan. And I spoke to Senator Gillibrand. She was all for it. And that's all I needed. But I asked John. And, John will tell you, he looked up to me for advice to the way I approach everything in D.C., my political savviness, and blah, blah, blah. But it was John. I asked just for advice as a friend. And John was all for it. And John was on board. And that was to have John testify in front of Congress and other people. Not wait to the end of the year to be attached to a larger vehicle so we can get a better bill. It was to be done now. People were suffering and dying. Well, we pissed off a lot of our allies. We burned a lot of bridges. But, after almost 2 decades in D.C., I just didn't care anymore. This was about humanity. This is about people suffering. The game plan was to have these people testify, have John finish it, get a meeting with Mitch McConnell, and get the bill passed. And that's the first time in my life that everything I asked for or wished for happened simultaneously over a month period. Like it was the gods were watching over us. It was the perfect storm. It's the perfect recipe. And, a week before the testimony, John calls me and he reads me. Listen to this. I want to read this thing. I go, dude, is that your, what you're going to say when you sit in front of Congress? Yeah. I go, for what? He goes, why not? I go, why are you reading that? He goes, I don't know. It's the right thing to do. I want to be professional. I go, John, everybody else, 6 people before you can read from a speech. They're going to fuck it up. They're going to look up, look down, lose their place. They're going to be nervous. So, yeah, but I don't want to kill the guys. And again, that's proof of what this meant to him. And you never showed the guys before. They all love you. Giving the Republican guys on the team, they all love you. And all week, we were going back and forth. He's texting me, calling me, hey, I added this, I subtracted. I go, whatever, John. Do what the fuck you want. But in the back of my mind, I'm going to get this fucking guy to do what I want because I'm in charge. And the day before he testified, Ray Feal, who John gave the eulogy for, who was my best friend, who died of 9/11 cancer, they had a golf outing that we couldn't make because we were in D.C. So I outbid everybody for Ray's bunkie coat. I believe it was $7,000. And then I paid $1,000 to have it delivered down to D.C. before John got there. So my guys were inside. They all signed the code. Dear John, I love you. Thank you for everything, John. They all got to sign Ray's code. I wanted to get the John Stewart that I have known over the last decade. And while my guys were inside, I was waiting for John outside. I gave John a letter in an envelope. He opens it up. And the letter said, Dear John, this is my first Dear John letter at 53 years on this planet. So John, give it John a Dear John letter. How apropos. The letter said, I miss and I love my mother dearly. I miss and I love Ray dearly. Don't ever make me miss you because I love you. Next thing you know, we're both bowling, we're hugging each other. I'm not going to say mine was sincere, like crying. When I think about it, I'll be choked up. But a lot of it was acting because I needed John to fall into line and follow my game plan. So we went inside, John got the code. Now he's jelly. He's just jelly. We got the question into a room. Everybody else was waiting in the committee room. He's looking at his speech, tapping his pen. I go, dude, put that away. He's like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. But so when we went out there, you can watch that video, and you'll see me and John communicating throughout it by whispering in his ear or texting him when he was in front of me, or leaning over and whispering in his ear. There's always constant communication, and I was just feeding him more shit to get him riled up. I brain fucked John that day. I don't know how else to put it. I created the ultimate warrior. And, everybody went, everybody spoke, everybody did what they needed to do to make it a complete hearing. And then Lou Alvarez went. And, we helped Lou with his speech. Just getting Lou to D.C. from New York was taxing, physically and mentally. Lou died 18 days after that. But as soon as Lou was finished, I stood up and clapped to make a distraction. Everybody got up and clapped. And then I leaned over to John and said, follow that bitch. And I guess he took that as a challenge because then he delivered it. You look up great speeches in history, those 8.5 minutes, 9 minutes are included in that now. And I think what I got John to do and not do was so important because over the years, if you watch him, he's been brilliant at places and spots. He's been perfect in delivery. John dug down deep, way past what John was capable of doing, and brought up a word orgy that articulated our pain and suffering, that chastised the body of work, that shed light to the American people, no matter their political affiliation. All in under 9 minutes. And John broke down after that and cried. And that's where you see that picture of me hugging John with my arm around him. I've never felt another man shake in my arms like that, uncontrollably. And the relief that he got, I think of the Green Mile, where every time Michael Clark, Duncan Clark, he took the bad out of people and then had to spit it out. That it reminded me of John, that he took everybody's pain and suffering and had to let it out. And once again, it was proof that everything he's done was sincere, was pure, was innocent, without hesitation. And John delivered it, but I know what I did to make him do that. What people don't know is everybody went home that day. I took 4 guys to Albany. We got the rebuild guys the next day home.
And it got to a point where people knew you were coming, right? And they would, it was, it was like they learned it was unwise to stand in your way.
The funny thing is, individually, there are members of Congress with IQs that are impressive. Their staffs are impressive, whether in the House or the Senate. Collectively, they're dumb as rocks. It's easier to beat a party than an individual, because at the end of the day, they're individuals voting as a party. They were playing checkers while we were playing chess. Every time they moved the goal line, we matriculated down the field. Every time they do an obstacle or hurdle on our way, we went through it or around it. We crafted our position. We had a decade and a half to perfect this. It wasn't like, oh, let's do this for 1 week and, call it a day. When we went to do the burn pits and we went around the table and said, hey, how often do you guys go to D.C.? We go like once every 6 months. I said, well, everybody better go fucking buy your treadmill, because we're going to go 2 or 3 or 4 times a month. We're going to put our foot on the necks. We're not going to let them breathe. And we're going to get a bill pass. Anybody got a problem with that, you can leave right now. Some left, but then they put their top 10 legs and begged to come back. But they saw the progress we were making, and then they saw what we did with a $300 billion healthcare bill for veterans exposed by burn pills. We're not for everybody. I know that. But when you're 19 to 19 and you have a body of work, I'm not going to apologize to a Democrat in Oregon or a Republican in Missouri. I'm never going to apologize when humanity and human life is at stake. How does anybody expect me with a straight face to say sorry? Sorry for calling you an asshole on CNN. Sorry for saying fuck you on MSNBC. Sorry for calling you a dick on Fox. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. If my mother was alive, she'd smack me in the back of the head and say, never say that again, but fucking that was a great job.
Oh, man. Whenever I start working with an author on a book, I always start with the question of like, well, why do you want to write a book? And I think your answer to that might have been the first time of many that you made me cry. Why do you want to write a book?
I want to be famous. No, well, that's not true. I mean, one, I think if people, I hope, for the people that read this, they laugh, they cry, and they get mad. And they see the injustice that we had to endure. But I also believe what I did over the last 2 decades, if I can do it, then somebody should do it better. And if somebody believes in a cause and an issue that they're passionate about, they can call me. I'll talk them through it. I'll even join them. But so many people have written books over the years. There's a chapter on John Feal in a handful of those books. Everybody told my story but me. And everybody for years told me to write a book. Well, I can't spell cat if you spotted me the C and the A. So I figured I'd get a ghostwriter or a co-author. But it was important for me to tell my story through my eyes of not just John P. and John Stewart, but of the men and women, uniform and non-uniform, that diverse team of people that had walked to D.C. who gave of themselves, not only on 9/11 in the days of lead death, but for years walking the halls. Tens of thousands of people who will never know their names. They deserve all the credit in the world. But the biggest reason I'm writing this, I'm doing this, I'm closer to the finish line than I am the start line. My injury knocked me off course. And I never got back on course. And in a way, in so many ways, and the most important way is to find my way home, to go home. And I thought for so long, home is somewhere where you open the front door and you shut it. Then I thought it was a person where I'd be happy with spending the rest of my life with. I think it's just it's a feeling you get, a sense of relief, a chance to exhale. I want to sit by the water in a beat-up lounge chair with a fishing pole and reminisce, because I haven't had a chance to. I could tell John Stewart stories, or but I haven't had a chance to reminisce. I haven't had a chance to decompress. I haven't had a chance to just say, "Wow, that was pretty cool." I have no peers. I decided to do what nobody else did. I decided to dedicate my life to give it of myself. And I want people to know that I'm flawed, that I'm exposed, that I'm handicapped, that I'm disabled in so many different ways than just a physical injury or a post-traumatic. And that it's okay to say that out loud. It's okay to say that to anybody you meet. It's okay to let others know if you're going through something, just talk about it. It dumbs it down. It's okay, oh my God, hey John, I just saw you on TV. What you said was amazing. Hey John, thank you for doing everything you're doing. No, thank you for being a fucking human being. And I hope when they're done reading that, whether they like me or not, that they have a sense of, wow, if this fucking idiot can do this, then I can do that. If this man only wants to go home, doesn't want to be famous, doesn't want any semi-fame, doesn't want to be on TV anymore, doesn't want to do any more interviews or podcasts with a fucking water from Ireland, then my life's complete. I hope when they put this down, that they don't call me a hero, that they just see an average, simple man who likes meat and potatoes, who likes whiskey on the rocks, who will smoke a joint with them, and just say, wow, this guy's been through hell, and he never gave up.
Damn.
Fuck you.
Fuck you too.
Well, use those words for the book.
Yeah, I got to get typing. John, it's been so good talking to you as always. I'm wishing you a very relaxing decompression time after you take that shower on September 12th. I'm going to link to your Twitter and all the places people can find you see you say fuck a lot.
Yeah, I apologize for that. No, I don't. There's a study, right? That people who curse more are more honest. Listen, some of my best friends don't curse. Some of my best friends do that. We have to be able to disagree to have a healthy relationship. No relationship succeeds when you agree on it. Whether it's professional, friendship, relationship, you got to be able to disagree. Hey, honey, what do you want to get to eat? I don't care, whatever you want. It doesn't work like that. I want to know what you want to eat. I want to know what you want to drink. I want to know what you want to do. And I think in any relationship, any business venture, you got to have disagreement. And I think that's, before anything ends in shit, you got to create a bond. You got to create a foundation. You have to have the ability to appreciate the good days and get ready and accept the inevitable bad day. Because there's more bad in life than there is good. And nobody's immune from that. Okay, how fucking rich you are, how good looking you are, how tall you are on 5'7" on a good day. Life gets you. Nobody gets out of this alive. And life is a series of traumatic events with a few good days sprinkled in there. And, when this book is complete, I'll have a sense of accomplishment, a sense of relief that everything I've ever started, I finished. And I know if I die before the book is complete, you'll finish it. I don't care if I sell one copy or 10,000 copies. If someone reads that book, then my life is complete.
All right, let's get you home, John.
I'm cool.
Thanks again.
Thanks for having me. I'll see you in an hour when we speak to the end of it.
Yeah, we'll be back on. Yeah, we got work to do today.
There were no cheap pitches for this book today.
No, it's the soft sell. I'll give people links and everything, and we'll have a totally promotional episode later, closer to the big day.
On a serious note, because I do got to run before we get on the horn later. If everybody just takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour out of their day on 9/11, thank somebody in uniform, buy somebody a cup of coffee, hold the door open for a stranger, give somebody a compliment. It goes a long way. It really does. This morning, I walk to work, which is about an 8-minute walk, and I had to jigsaw my way from my 8-minute walk to sometimes 14, 16 minutes because the homeless people get me all the time. But this morning I just said, fuck, I'm taking on the shoe. And $1 here, $5 there, $1 there. But then they all followed me into waiting outside of Dunkin' Donuts because they know who I am. And I bought 2 dozen donuts. And we all sat on the sidewalk eating donuts. I actually ate a donut. And we just sat there bullshitting. And people walking by, I was like, what, you never seen New Yorkers sit on the curb and eat fucking donuts? Like people like God cook, last Saturday I was feeding the pigeons at Seaport. And some lady's like, how dare you throw them on the boardwalk while we're walking by? That's like a challenge, Charlie. I went and bought all of the nuts from the ice cream truck, who puts the nuts on their Sundays. Those pigeons cost me $60. And I threw them all over the boardwalk. And I was trying to find that lady, and I'm walking behind her, and I'm throwing the pigeons and now all over her. And I didn't give a fuck. The pigeons ate good. I had a sense of relief that I ruined her day. But I know I did the right thing. And besides, my girlfriend likes feeding pigeons, and if I don't feed the pigeons, I'm on the shit list, so.
Love it.
She rescues birds, bro,
Yeah.
Rats with
Love
wings.
it.
They're now my best friend.
Even the pigeons love John Feal.
All right, bro.
All right, John. See you soon. If you have an epic story, I'd love to hear it. You can find me at dailyprose.com or on LinkedIn. My links and John's, including a new link to a Substack we're putting together for updates on the book, are in the show notes. Thanks for listening.